Aloha and good day, friends and yogis. Today is Sunday Yoga. My name is Nicole Spirit. Today we have a delightful, short, and simple class for you. And we're gonna start off on our yoga mat, sitting down, get super cozy and comfy. Make sure that you've got maybe a blanket or a towel close by that we could perhaps sit on, or maybe wrap up at the end when we're in our final Shavasana. Sounds kind of funny, but I want you to start today by giving the back of your hand a kiss. There you go. Now do the other side. And I want you to remember the little acronym KISS. Keep it super simple. That's what we're doing today, Super Simple Sunday. We're going to just talk about the chakras a little bit. Let's start our class by doing long exhale breath. If you prefer, you can lie down for this. This is a pranayama technique where we inhale to a count of 4 and we exhale to a count of 8. We'll just do this a few times. So maybe close your eyes. Visualize your spinal column lengthening on your inhale. And on your exhale, see if you can sink energy all the way down the body from the top as it soothes your whole system. And not just your physical body, but your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body. And then again, inhale to a count of 4. A nice long exhale breath to a count of 8. This is called Durga Rechak, the long exhale breath. You can do any interval you like. Just make the exhale longer than the inhale. Let's finish off. Nice long, smooth exhale breath. And remember, when we have a long, smooth breath, we create a long, smooth life. Good. Now, gently come off of your blanket or seat, and we're going to gently extend the legs long, and then we're going to roll back to the ground. Try not to crash. Find that inner light of your lower chakras, your energy centers. It says that the bottom chakras are all about me, me, me. And once we get past the heart and we come into the neck and throat and to the higher chakras, it's all about you, you, you. So let's just take a couple moments to settle the body. If you're feeling a little cool, maybe you've left your socks on, and that's okay too. And now I want you to transition to the breath that is 7 counts per inhale and then 7 counts per exhale. And because it's Sunday, we think about the sun. And depending on what you're doing right now, where is the sun? And I love the reminder that there is another sun that we can always find in the middle of our body. So inhale with the 7 counts, and maybe you strike or gently feel or just touch upon each chakra or wheel of light as your inhale breath gently pulses 7. On the exhale breath, we'll do the same thing. Just a moment where you sense or feel all the colors of the rainbow represented in your body through the chakra system. So at the root, we have red. Continue your 7 count inhale and exhale as you feel it's working for your own rhythm today. At the navel, we have the 2nd chakra, the sacral, which is very much about our emotional body. We think about the roots, the red at the root of the spine, and then the orange, and then we have the sunshine within the solar plexus, the beautiful golden or yellow chakra under the ribs, where 78,000 nerves are bundled. Then we float up into the neck and, the heart, and we go into the bridge. And the bridge is so important. Of course, we never want to burn down a bridge because we might have to cross it again. And that's the whole idea about when we are maybe challenged, that we respond with wisdom rather than reacting and getting too upset. Our next throat chakra is all about truth and honesty and your spirit. Think about the lower chakras as very physical. The heart is the bridge, the gateway. And then we get into the neck and the throat, which is the unlimited, beautiful, unseen world of the blue, endless, vast skies, the heavens, the oceans, the rivers. Then we come to the third eye. This is our intuition, our indigo blue chakra. This is a very sixth sense chakra. It's all about your intuition and insight, your inspiration. We help release confusion. And I love the color. It's like a night sky that isn't blue, it isn't purple, it's indigo. And then we float our awareness to the crown of our head where we have our seventh chakra, where we have the purple energy. And it's said that this is where we connect to the heavenly realms, to our guides, to our past and future loved ones, and maybe our animal friends as well. So let's normalize our breath now. Nice smooth inhale and exhale. And just think about all your 7 energy centers, your primary 7 chakras, glowing and spinning and vibrating, the best energy for you at this time. And throughout the practice, we'll find balance in our chakras, as well as when we sleep tonight. Good, so let's just bring our chin to the chest a little closer. We're gonna flex our toes and fingers up, and then we're gonna point through the fingers and toes. Let's do that one more time. Push through the heels of the hands and the feet, and then point. And then we're gonna finish off just relaxing the arms and legs, and then we'll take a moment to draw both knees in and up, and give the body a nice wind release, Pavanmuktasana. So give yourself a squeeze or a hug if it feels available. You might want to lift the head, neck, and shoulders. And whichever variation you choose, we're going to try our breath of fire here. So if you've done this before, keep your mouth closed. If you're still learning, stick your tongue out of your mouth, and we'll start by panting like a puppy. Inhale to prepare, and go. 5 seconds. Good. Float your head to the ground, wet your tongue, maybe close your lips now and breathe normally. See how that breath made you feel. Know that this breath brings a huge amount of oxygen into your body, which is amazing. It's going to push out toxins, and it's also going to push out negativity, negative emotions. Good. Let's release the feet now. Normalize your breathing, and then ever so gently, we're going to roll onto our left side. Make a pillow with your left arm. Gently relax your head. And one of my spirit guides is called Pilla Plumeria. So I like to visualize the most beautiful rose quartz, pink pillow energy, and also perhaps the most lovely scent of my favorite flower. Now we're going to take our right arm and gently make circles at the shoulder. When you open up, you can gently bring your chest and shoulder to the floor, circling around, and then keep that nice smooth rhythm going with your arm. If it's available, keep your arm and hand close to the floor, and breathe into that right shoulder socket, your yang side, the masculine. See if any challenges are stuck there. We're gently going to smooth them out. Then you let your hand rest on your side, and we're going to go the other way. And same thing, you can open up the chest as you circle around back. Maybe your hand touches all of these beautiful plants. How do you build a yoga studio and film it on YouTube? Very gently and gracefully. That plant looks good, that one doesn't. One more circle around. But when you have heart-shaped leaves from the Arthurian lily and your white, beautiful swan from your peace lily, it's so nice to have the energy there. Good. When you're done, gently placing your right arm at your side, and just breathe for one more moment. Remember today's little wish or gift to just kiss. Keep it super simple. I'm going to sneak another one in there on my right hand. Gently roll onto your back again. Keep your knees up, And then we're going to bring the right knee in and up to the chest. Next, we're going to lift the right foot, catch your hands behind the thigh, and then gently relax your hands. Pointing through the toes, let's circle around 4 times, just like we did with the shoulder. And remember that the referral area for your hip is the shoulder area. So you can massage the hip and it will help the shoulder as well. When we've done 4, pause, gently go the other way. And if you need a bit more today, really glue your arms against the side of your body and release your left leg to the floor. But try not to let anything else move. We're just opening up that right hip socket, the masculine, the sunny side of the body. And when we're done, we gently come back to center. We'll release that right and left leg straight to the ground. And then just be here for a moment. Lay in Shavasana, corpse pose, doing nothing, and sense or feel your right side. Hopefully it feels open, a little more awake and alive. And now we're going to stretch our right arm above our head and reach our right hands and fingers, long hands, all of our plural hands, your fingers long on the right. Open up the shoulder, open up the hip, point through your toes and wiggle them. And then gently draw your hip and shoulder back together on the right. And we'll release our arm to the side. Breathe, smile. Remember, your breath is your free energy. It's like gas for your car or your vehicle, but it's free. So when we forget to breathe, when we're in fight or flight or freeze, then we need to remember that our breath is what's suffering. And literally, it's like taking your foot off the gas in the middle of an intersection. And then a car might come and hit you. So we need to make sure that we're ready to pause when we're at home and in bed, not when we're in life. All right, let's do the other side. So we're gonna gently come over onto our right-hand side. Our right side. I'm gonna flip around so that you don't have to stare at my back side for a few minutes. Not that that would be the worst thing in the world. Let's make a pillow with your right arm now. You don't have to call it a pillow either, but it's kind of fun and cutie. And oh well, what else are we gonna do? So left arm is now gonna do the same spiral. So just take it in any direction you wish. And maybe even do this one with your eyes closed. Open up through the chest if that feels like it's in harmony with what you're doing today. And maybe you even start to smile a little bit. Feel that simplicity of the Buddha nature just starting to float through your consciousness. And they say we all have the possibility of being enlightened. Remember, the word Buddha just means light in your mind. One last circle, maybe a little smile that's on the face is sinking down into the body. And then we gently pause with our arm along the side of the body for a second. See how you feel and then reverse the circle. And again, it can be a circle where you stay stationary, but just try to keep that hand close to the ground, especially as you're coming around. And they say that we can achieve enlightenment. We get a little drip of it every morning, a drip when we're sleeping. We can see it. We know our Buddha nature is possible, but sometimes we get distracted by life. So let's release our left arm. Pause for a moment when you've done circles in both directions, and then gently come off your pillow and lie on your back again. Comfortably make your way to one leg wind release, which will be the left knee coming in and up now. Right leg again, you can straighten it to the ground, or for more support, you can keep it bent and then start to straighten up through that left leg. Hands behind the thigh, the knee can stay very bent. And we're just gonna do those same 4 circles to release the hip that relates to the left shoulder. So pointing the toes, visualize that fun little marker or pen, colors, bubbles of love just floating down onto you. Create your peace and joy and Zen nature from the inside out. And when you've done 4 circles, pause, go the other way. See if you can create some fun colors. Maybe you're drawing some hearts above you. Good, last circle around. Use your core, ignite that beautiful center. And then we're gonna gently stop, release that left leg down. Right leg can float to the floor as well. And then we're gonna take our left arm up and over. This is the yin side, the moon, the feminine. And that's more Monday, moon day. All right, so open up, wiggle your fingers and toes, open up hip and shoulder on the left. The moon, the feminine, the divine, the mystery. And then gently draw hip and shoulder together. We'll bring our arm down by our side. And then we're gonna just gently bring both knees up and into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Bring the head, neck, and shoulders up, squeeze into a ball. Release your feet, roll onto your side. And then we're gonna push the ground away with ease and grace. And we're gonna come all the way onto our knees. So arrive on the front side of your legs. If this is absolutely uncomfortable and impossible, that's okay. Just sit cross-legged. If it's another option to do here is just to bring the back side of your mat underneath you and create an imaginary chair. And all of a sudden, all of the muscles from even inside the feet and the calves and the thighs start to ignite and you get your thunderbolt pose, Vajrasana. So sit here for one more breath. Keep breathing. Good. And notice that inner strength, your inner resolve of your hero in hero's pose, thunderbolt pose. Let's release the mat now. Bring the hands to the heart. We're going to bring the hands right in front of us next. Come off of the back of the feet, curl onto the toes, and then we're going to lift up and come into a forward fold. Keep your knees nice and bent. Bring your feet underneath your shoulders, your hip area, and let your knees bend generously. Not under your shoulders, but you get what I'm saying, I hope so. Anyways, your head is below your heart, and something that feels absolutely incredible to do here is to bring your hands together at the low back. So see how this feels. Take a moment and then maybe lift your arms up and away from your spine. This is one of my favorite releases for the middle of the spine. Let's breathe, let blood flow into your head and neck and your shoulders. And again, just testing out where this feels comfortable. Maybe your hands are down at the back. Maybe your arms are dangling. Whichever variation you take today is perfect for you. Good. And next breath, we're going to release the hands all together. Relax them, floating back down to the floor. And then we're going to take a whole breath, maybe two, to come up to standing. Let your whole body arrive in a standing position in mountain pose in Tadasana. And let's take our toes and bring them up. Gently release them down. Arms are going to float up and over. Good. And then we're going to take Temple Mudra. Interlace your last 3 fingers and thumb and index pointing up. Make sure you feel that core engagement, like you zip up from the middle of your body all the way up. And then we're going to tip to the right. Big inhale breath and exhale. Squeeze into the liver. Help release stored anger and frustration. And in the positive, we'll release a beautiful sense of rejuvenation, a sense of our vitality, our aloha vibes. One last breath. Continue to breathe here and then gently come back up to center. Good. Just pause for a moment. Visualize, sense, feel one side to the other. And then on your next exhale, we'll tip to the left. Continuing a long, smooth breath, squeezing into the stomach and spleen now. And we help release worry and nervous energy. We replace with good creation, recreation, our positive hobbies and pastimes. Good. And then gently, gently, next breath, big inhale to come up. Exhale, sink your arms down. Bring them all the way to your sides. And we're going to come into chair pose now. Utkatasana, chair pose. So take a moment, arms can float in front, then sink your hips down. And as you arrive, get into a place that feels really good. You want to make sure your hips and your tail aren't flared right out to the back. Draw in the pelvic floor and the sacrum just a little bit. And you're going to have that nice protection in the low back. Good. With the arms reaching in front, you can stay here, or we can try dancing chair today. Bring your left hand behind you. Keep the shoulders and hips facing forwards. Bounce a little bit in your chair. Maybe look behind you. This is a good snowboarding move. Come back to center, and then we're gonna bring our right arm behind us. Yes, feel yourself skiing, surfing, boarding. Visualize your beautiful life when you get out of your house, even just going for a walk, and then gently bringing that right arm back to center. One more breath here, shoulders sink down, Utkatasana chair pose, and then we're gonna charge up through our legs, come all the way up, hands together, and then gently float them at the heart. Keep the breath going. We're going back to the floor. Super simple Sunday. This time arriving on your hands and your knees. Just doing a cat-cow for a couple breaths. Inhale, belly comes down, head and hips come up. And then exhale and round the other way. Pelvis tilts down, chin comes in. And you get that nice, beautiful arch in the spine, maybe even propping up on your fingertips. Floating your hands back down. And now you can choose a variation if you want to keep going straight with cat-cow. Or you can pause with your spine flat and gently take it into a couple of circles. See how this feels. You maybe have done it before, or maybe not. It feels nice to have the knees a little bit more open here, so find your variation. Come back to center, continue with cat-cow or circling around the other way. And breathe, smile, feel good. Know that you showed up today after a beautiful and possibly challenging week. When you're done, come back to center. We're going to do a nice little wrist release here. Take your left hand and float it behind you. And then same thing, right hand, float it behind you. And just open up a little bit through those wrists. Press into all the 5 finger pads on each side. Good. And then we're going to gently, slowly bring our hands back to center. Sit back down on your imaginary chair, and we're going to flip the palms now and just give a little bit of gentle pressure. Open your hands as much as you can. You don't have to put pressure in the wrists, but just see if you can open up a little bit through the hands. Good. Then we're going to lift back up. We can find our imaginary chair again. And another variation we could do is Virasana, where we bring the feet to the outside of the thighs. So see if that's available for you today. You're going to open your legs, open your feet a little bit wider. Take your thumbs and catch them behind the calves, roll them out, and then see if it's available to sit down. Now, I should mention you can pull up your knees. You don't have to sit down all the way. And a good thing to do is place a towel or a block underneath your seat, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I can do this. This is amazing if you're doing any hiking or skiing or anything to do with a lot of leg motion. Getting into this position before and after your efforts will very, very much benefit your legs and will also help prevent injury. One more breath here, see how you feel. We're going to press into the big thumb mound on the right side with our index finger on the other side, your Venus mound, and just give it a little massage. This helps release your lung on the right, lung 10 acupressure point. I said one more breath in this position, so if you feel like it, you can come out. You can sit back in hero's pose, or you can also sit cross-legged. Let's press lung 10 on the other side now. Take your thumb and index finger and push into that big mound that's underneath your thumb. It's called the thenar eminence. And this is from my 20 years of reflexology work. And this is to help you bring some expansion into your lungs. The lungs are also known to store grief and sadness. And this is going to help us breathe. One more time, one breath. If you're a smoker, this one can be much more tender, and it also can be very effective for bringing that lung capacity, that increased lung capacity. Good, let's release now. Shake out the hands. This repairs nerve damage. Come off of your knees. It takes me a little moment. Good, come off of your knees, and then we're gonna gently come into our seated position again. So shake out the hands up and down, side to side. 3 minutes helps repair all nerve damage in the neck and the shoulders. And it might feel really awkward, but it's super, super good for you. And this is also so wonderful for helping to reduce carpal tunnel. Good, and then shake it off. Shake off any emotional stuff, any mental stuff, any physical stuff. Shake it off, let it go, no longer needed. Good, hands come onto your knees. Let's give the knees a little rub. The knees represent our ego and pride in the world of Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life. If you've never read this book, I highly recommend it. The knees, we want to just love them. Just pause for a moment and just sit with your hands on your knees. If this isn't comfortable, lie down. Good. Then we're going to bring our hands together and make an energy ball. I'm going to bring this extremely beautiful blanket in front of me here. Ones that the dogs aren't allowed to sit on. So rub your hands together. Create some warmth and friction. Good, and then I want you to make an energy ball, a chi ball. Chi is the Chinese word for energy. Ki is the Japanese word. Prana, the yogic word, Sanskrit word. And as your hands move closer and away from each other, you might even feel this beautiful force of energy that's this healing light, and it's what you intend. So let's put all of our most loving, healing energy here, and let's practice. We're going to send our knees 3 deep breaths of healing, loving energy. So gently place your hands back on your knees again. I know we sent the knees some love. Now we're doing it big time. Send this nice, healing, soothing energy into your knees. Tell your knees how much you love them. If your knees are great, thank you so much. Reinforce that they've kept you this strong. If your knees have had trouble or if you've had some injury, let's just send some healing energy to that spot now. Thank you, knees. Your elbows are the referral areas for your knees. Which is funny because my right elbow's been sore for 2 weeks, but my knee is totally fine, but it's making me wonder, is it connected to the knee? All right, wherever your energy ball is now, let's bring the hands back to the heart. I'd love for you to take your towel or blanket or hopefully most beautiful healing blanket you could think of and drape it around your shoulders now. Again, if you're lying down, cover yourself with a blanket. This is from my 2 dear friends who are sisters. This blanket comes from the business called Come Home, which you can find on Facebook. And they're my 2 beautiful friends who are adopted sisters from Ecuador. And they've gone back to their home country, reunited with their family, and started buying these beautiful alpaca blend blankets. So whatever you've got around your shoulders now, I'm using my imagination to visualize you with the most healing feeling around your shoulders right now, like your wings of a beautiful angel are wrapped around you now. And maybe even your guardian angel is here with you. And we sense and feel that we're protected. We're in a little energy of our own sacred cave in the mountain. And just like the Buddha teaches, we don't take sides. We remain equanimous. We remain balanced and happy. And we go about controlling our own peacefulness from the inside out. We control our breathing. We control our actions. And we'll finish off our practice today just with the beautiful consideration of our 7 chakras, our energy centers. So you can leave your hands in your favorite mudra, hands on your knees. You can bring your hands up to your heart. You can sit with your hands, one palm in the other, gently cupping the hands. And we'll imagine that beautiful white light coming from the angel Melchizedek is coming through today and nourishing all of the chakras, the rainbow of light that is our energy system in the body, the subtle energy system of our energy centers. So So take a deep breath and imagine your root center being purified at this time, releasing judgment and increasing acceptance for yourself and others. Next couple breaths float into your belly area, and we think about releasing any worry or any nervous energy. And we replace with good recreation. Think about your favorite hobby, positive hobby, and see if you can participate in that a little bit more today or any other day. Release any really yucky, no good hobbies at this time. It's okay if we do yucky things, but not in excess, you know, having that balance. Next breath, I want you to find your energy at your solar plexus, and again, visualize having the sunshine coming from the inside of you. We burn away any impurities like fear or anxiety, and we increase our inner vitality. They say you can be a millionaire by affecting 1 million people positively. So taking a deep breath together, feeling that third energy center is how I'm a millionaire, because I'm helping to breathe with you. You're helping me to breathe with the earth, and we're breathing together. So visualizing that sunshine, and we create our vitality, our zest for life. Next couple of breaths float into your heart center. We find green, beautiful empowerment of love and kindness and compassion. And we release any sadness or grief. Inhale love, and then exhale love. Next breath, we float into the neck and throat area, just visualizing beautiful light healing our neck and throat. The blue chakra associated with our truth and our spirit, with our habits, our hobbies. So again, just asking for healing now with your good habits, and asking for healing to let go and release any negative habits. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what it is. If you're maybe trying to quit smoking cigarettes, or maybe you're trying to stop eating potato chips every night. I love eating potato chips every night. Whatever. Find that strength in your throat chakra to increase your positive habits and to reduce and let go of your addictions or what no longer serves you. Let's float into the third eye for the next couple breaths. Indigo, intuition, glowing light in your mind, knowing you are not your mind, you are not your brain, but your consciousness does spend a lot of time there. Take a deep breath, release any mental chatter, and just stay as though you're staring at a glowing star in the middle of your brain, or a marble. Then we're gently going to float above our head, our own physical head, and you come into your crown chakra, and you sense and feel a connection with your own divinity, what that means for you, and also the divinity of your favorite spirit guides, with the energy of your past loved ones, perhaps the energy of the light and love of all of the source energy, and what your definition of God is. And I love Ram Dass. He says, we're all just leading each other home. It's very hard to be in a physical body, but when we're out of the physical body as a pure soul, that's what heaven and the home is said to be. So take a deep breath and find that divinity from the inside out. It's healing you. It's like a shower of beautiful energy all around you. And then we'll finish off considering our 8th chakra. That's the 7 chakras glowing together perfectly. And the 8th chakra becomes our aura, our electromagnetic field. This is a beautiful combination of magnetism and electricity. And it's said to look like a glowing egg of light all around you. We see the aura with the rods of our eyes. So if you're trying to look at someone's aura, try to look around the person and let the rods of the eyes, see the aura. Good. Visualizing your own aura now as your most beautiful glowing ball of light, your protection. And all of your chakras are glowing now, the best energy for you at this time. Thank you for joining me today. I so appreciate your time and energy. And I wish you the most wonderful rest of your day and the most wonderful sleep tonight on this here Divine Sunday. You can stay lying down if that's where you are. You can stay seated. And when it feels right, let's gently bring the hands together at the heart. We'll bow the head and we dedicate the merits of our practice to all sentient beings. May all beings be relieved of their suffering. And may we dwell together with great fruitfulness and harmony. The light in me greatly honors and sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you ever so much for joining. I so appreciate your time and energy. Let's have an amazing week ahead of us. If you feel like it, you can do yoga with Nicole Spirit and honoring each day of the week through this funny 1 week journey that we just created. Take good care. I love you so much. From my heart straight to yours. Mucho, mucho amor.